Just got up smash.
And now, oh, Zoom, poor Zoom.
Happy feet. Wombo combo.
That ain't Falco.
That ain't Falco. Oh.
It was officially the first day of CoreSMP, and everyone had big plans. When the service started, everyone instantly started spreading out. Percy and his team started going to Greece, Rex started going to Ireland, and I was going to Finland. When I got to Finland, I instantly started mining and gaining resources. Before the server even started, I devised a plan to become the most powerful nation on the server. To succeed this plan, I needed to get money and resources fast. Due to this speed, I became the first nation on the server. Which isn't really that interesting, but that's a fun fact, I guess. I decided to name the capital of Voyagen Medieval. Next nation up was Parthia. On the first day, Parthia, which was started by Percy, started recruiting members and gaining land. In terms of member count, Parthia had the most. Parthia was pretty inspired by the Roman Empire, as you can see in the flag. Next nation up was Bald's nation, Swistonia. Me and Swistonia were allies since we shared borders, and I wanted some of the stuff that Bald wanted. Swistonia was massively inspired by the Vikings. After all of this, I passed out from being so tired. I was playing until 3 a.m. I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't expect the second day to be this crazy. Now, something that I didn't know happened on the first day was that Bald was killed by a member by the name of No Name, who was a member of Parthia. This obviously sparked a bit of controversy between Parthia and Swistonia, which was pretty bad for me since I was allied with both nations. Eventually, both Bald Spawn and No Name decided to have a duel in Spawn. The battle wasn't even close. Bald Spawn had much better gear than No Name. In fact, No Name's gear was so bad at the time that when Bald Spawn killed them, they had only taken away 2 hearts from Bald Spawn. This obviously ruined Parthia's reputation, but not as much as Arula, the vice president of Parthia, joining Swistonia to make Asma. Parthia was now practically in shambles, and it was only the second day. Now, everything that happened after this, I would consider the downfall of the Geo-Political server. The Portuguese Empire started out as a small nation that owned all of Portugal and a bit of Spain. No one really cared about the Portuguese Empire. Everyone thought that it would be just another random nation that wouldn't do anything. But we were oh so wrong. After Parthia was in shambles, Barbecue, who was the owner of the Portuguese Empire, came to Percy and offered them to join the growing empire. Parthia, unfortunately, said yes. And before Parthia joined the empire, the United Kingdom of Plantia joined in as well. This was horrible news for both me and Swistonia. This tripled the amount of land that Portugal originally owned. This was bad for me because I wanted Parthia and the UKP to be independent nations. The thing that made things even worse for me is that Portugal would later take not only Japan, but also Taiwan. Portugal was gaining power and fast. This eventually led to Swistonia declaring war on Portugal. I would later do the same. Swistonia wants to have a battle right now and today, but Portugal had no gear and wasn't prepared at all. So I thought it would be fair to give Portugal some time to get more gear and more resources. Swistonia and Portugal eventually came to an agreement that the battle would happen on the weekend next week. One day, in the Swistonian Discord, we got an announcement that they are now at war with Isolation, a nation started by Cinnamon, Jacktown, and Farmland. Since I wasn't really affiliated with the battle, I decided to only watch from afar. The anime armies were moving back and forth, attacking and retreating. Sony was so annoyed by this that they disabled PvP in their nation. Now, we just recently found out about Siege Wars, which at the time I thought just gave money to the winner and nothing else. So I told the enemy that they needed to start Siege War since I wanted it to be a fair battle. Little did I know that the winner of the Siege War actually invades the city. Bond was not happy with me helping the enemy. Eventually, Swistonia did win, but it did ruin my relationship with Swistonia pretty severely. Swistonia didn't see any benefit in our alliance and gave me a week to prove that I could help the already powerful nation. I had a plan of doing this, but whilst I was in the process of doing it, Baldspot suddenly ended our alliance. Because ICO told Bald that I had been telling state secrets, and when I said that this was false, I told Bald something that was already common knowledge. The fact that I told the enemy to start Siege War and didn't fully understand what it was. And Bald entered our alliance. This eventually led to me becoming an enclave. I thought I would just stay that way for a while, until I logged on the server and was getting hunted down by Ice and Bish. I was invaded, and I had to flee somewhere else. And that somewhere else was Crimea, where I decided to make a new nation by the name of Elfarigen, which meant New Northland. Long story short, I did it stupid, had to flee to Asia, and renamed my nation to Elfarigen. This is where the first part of the series ends. Nothing really too interesting happened after this. I mean, I built a border wall, and changed my plans from becoming an empire in secret to being an isolated nation. Some new nations were formed, but they didn't really do anything. And what about that war of Portugal? Well, it didn't happen at the time of recording this. Other than that, nothing else. And now, thank you for watching the video, and have a good day.
I got eyes on the back of my head, I can see shit. I know when to dodge when you stab me in the back. Bitch, I swear that the whole entire world is against me. I told her I just wanna be friends, but she texts me, just want you to